Oxygen for the Soul. This is where I get to share some short ideas on the parasha itself. Hope to give you some food for thought as you prepare and get ready for Shabbat Kodesh, the Holy Sabbath. All right. I just want to welcome everyone here. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So Parshat Netzavim begins with a story that continues from the previous week. Last week, we left off with Moses going through Rabbeinu Moshe, our master, our teacher, giving us every single one of the blessings and the curse that the Jewish people are going to recite when they get into the land of Israel. And the Jewish people are freaking out. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would be. You just spent 40 years in a desert. You know that your parents were slaves in Egypt, and now your teacher, the guy, your leader, has told you that there's going to be all sorts of challenges and curses and consequences to your actions if you don't keep to the mission of the Torah itself. So at this week's parasha, Netzavim begins with the end of 6 weeks. The last few parshiot were every single week that we read, the last 6 weeks were a continuation of Moses's address to the Jewish people, the 6 weeks before he died, and Netzavim begins on the day that he actually died. So he's dying tonight, and hey Jack, and he's dying tonight, and this is his last address to the Jewish people, and he's saying his so long and farewell. So Parsha begins with the following opening words: Atem netzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Hashem Elokechem. You, my friends, are standing today, kulchem, all of you, before God. Roshechem, shiftechem, ziknechem, shotrechem, kol ish Yisrael. Tapchem, neshechem, gercha asher bekerev machanecha. You are standing today, all of you people, the heads of your tribes, the elders, the police officers. It goes through your young children, your women, the converts. It starts listing all these different categories of people in our camp. And Shabbat Shalom, Marcel. And the question is, why? Like you just said, we just said very clearly, Atem netzivim hayom kulchem. All of you are standing together today before God. So why would the Torah itself, remember, the Torah is not just a book of history. Torah is not interested in wasting words. The Torah itself is interested in teaching you very profound lessons about life. So when the Torah is telling us, Atem netzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Hashem Elokechem, that's where it should end. Why bother going through the explaining of every single one of these other different types of categories of people? You say, Atem netzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Hashem Elokechem, done, over, end of the conversation. Don't bother listing your roshechem, shiftechem, ziknechem, shotrechem, kol ish Yisrael. You're doing it twice. There's a redundancy, and the question is, why? Nothing is for naught. Rashi tells you that the reason why this is happening is because these people survived. You're standing here today, and it was more of a response to the reality. The Jewish people heard all these curses. They were terrified. Rashi says their faces turned white. They were literally like, oh my God, like what did we sign? Like what have we gotten ourselves into? How are we going to survive this Jewish God who demands so much from us? Excuse me, I just need to take a sip. I made a shot call earlier. Yeah, it's just water. Anyway, so you have a reality where the Jewish people are really just afraid at this point of trying to deal with the new reality of their new responsibilities. So Moshe says, don't worry about it. Atem nitzavim. We're all standing. We all still survived. But doesn't answer the question, how do you survive? You know how you survive all the curses? Should tell you how we survive all the curses of the Torah itself. When you stand hayom kulchem, when you stand together, when you stand in unison, when you stand shoulder to shoulder, when you stand with the power of recognizing that each Jew is responsible for one another, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Lezeh, that every single Jewish man and woman is responsible for the other. When you live in this way, don't worry about the curses. Atem Netzavim Hayom Kulchem. Just like you're standing today, all of you together, you'll always be standing. I love reading this parsha because it's a constant reminder of the superpower that we as Jews have. You see, there are lots of nations that stood up against us, from Pharaoh to Hitler, every single dictator, despot, king, whoever it was. They tried to crush us, erase us, but they failed. Do you know why? You see, Moshe, his midah is netzach, which means eternity. His trait is eternity. And when Moses says things, they're supposed to last forever. When Moshe says, Atem Netzavim Hayom Kulchem, the people that are standing today are the people that are the ones that are Kulchem Lifnei Hashem Ekechem. We're always standing before God. And we recognize that when we're standing before God, when God is standing with us, we could stand against anything and anyone. There is no force in the universe that can get in our way, except for ourselves. We could get it in the way all the time. We do it all the time. But Atem Netzavim Hayom, you're standing here, Kulchem, together. Why? Because you're standing with Hashem Elokechem. So there's two answers. One answer is the way you could stand. How do you overcome all of the challenges of the curses? One is stand in unison, stand together. Number two is stand before God. If you recognize you live a life where you're always standing before God, before Borei Olam, you will always be standing. But there's something interesting here. The word that we use for standing in this pasuk, Atem Nitzavim. The word Nitzavim is a strange word to use. Why doesn't it say the more classical word, Atem Omdim Hayom, that you are standing? The word Omed means to stand. What does the word Netzavim mean? It's a strange kind of thing. What is this kind of standing that we're talking about? Is it a regular kind of standing? Is it a different kind of standing? So the word Netzavim doesn't just mean standing tall. Netzavim comes from the word Metzeva. Metzeva is also standing. But what is the difference between a Metzeva and the way a person stands? When you erect a monument, a Metzeva, okay, what you really are doing is trying to put something up that's going to stand the test of times. If you're going to go ahead and stand and overcome the challenges, the curses that are being put before us, okay, then you can't do a regular stand. You have to get into a stance. You got to plant your plant your feet firmly in the ground. You got to crouch a little bit. You got to get ready, kind of like a football player, ready to get into action. There's that kind of standing. And this kind of standing, casual kind of standing, when you're not ready for a very strong wind and you're standing, you could fall over. But when you're ready to embrace, you're ready to go ahead and lean in to the situation you're in, you have the power of withstanding a tremendous amount of force coming your direction. So the word Netzavim today, God is asking you not just to stand, he's asking you to stand for something. A Metzeva has something on it. It has a testimony. It has a document written, something that you're expressing. When you go ahead and you put up a monument, you're not just putting up a bunch of stones for nothing. The monuments that we know of today are really tombstones. Why do we put up tombstones? To remind the world of a person's life, to remind the world of a person's name, and maybe to mention their accomplishments, that this person was a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, that this person was a community member, this person did good deeds, he was an ish or isha chesed, someone who cared for humanity. When we put up a metzeva, we want the world to remember the example that this individual left behind. If you want to be able to overcome the curses, you want to be able to overcome the challenges, Hashem says, Atem Netzavim Hayom, you have to be willing to stand differently. You want to overcome, you got to become like a metzeva. You got to stand for something. When you know what you stand for, nothing can topple you over. When you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. Okay, this is true. When we don't have clarity with what we believe in, I can't tell you how many people I speak to that are struggling with their Judaism. Rabbi, I don't connect. I don't feel Shabbat. I don't feel Rosh Hashanah. What should I do? This and that. And 80% of the time, the reason why people don't feel a holiday isn't because of their lack of understanding or appreciation for the holiday. But all too often, I find that the real reason that people are suffering with this inability to connect, because it comes from their inability to connect to God. You're not sure if God exists. Your doubt, I'm not sure if the Torah is true. I'm not sure. I don't know. You're not standing for God if you're not sure if this thing is true. My life transforming moment is when I asked the question after a Poland trip, am I willing to die for being Jewish? And the answer back then was no. Today, the answer is firmly yes. When I have that kind of clarity, where I know what I'm willing to fight for, when I know what I'm willing to die for, that's when I begin to stand for something. Atem Netzavim hayom kulchem lefnechem Hashem Elokechem. You want to stand before God? What are you standing for? What do you believe in? Saying that I love being Jewish, it's not like saying, oh, I love the New York Knicks or I love the New York Giants. This is not picking a football team or a basketball. Oh, I love chocolate. It's not the same thing. When you say that I am Jewish, you're not just saying that, hey, I'm Jewish because my father and my mother was Jewish. When you say you're Jewish, whether you believe it or not, you're really saying, I believe in something, that I have a set of morals that I live by, a set of principles that I'm willing to fight for. To be Jewish means being an activist. But Rabbi, I'm not an activist. I do my own humble thing. If you're not an activist, you're not growing. You have to become an activist. You have to be proactively working on being Jewish. Every single Jew, no matter what your position is, you're a shoter, you're an isha, you're a tapchem, neshechem, gercha. Every single person here has a unique power, ability to connect in ways that only they can connect, and no one else can do it except for you. Are you willing to step up for what you believe in? Are you willing to stand up and take responsibility? How do you do that? First, take mutual responsibility. Kol Yisrael, we are all responsible for one another. At the very least, we're responsible for one another. And then beyond that, I have clarity as to what I'm going to stand for. I have clarity as to what I'm going to fight for. I have clarity as to what it is that I'm going to accomplish in this world. There's a beautiful pasuk I want to read for you. It says over here, Ki et asher yasena po imanu omed hayom lefnei Hashem Elokechem et asher enenu po imanu hayom. God says, right? Lo itchem levadchem anochi karet debrit. I'm not just forming this covenant with you, right? But as I'm going to create this covenant, ki asher yeshno po, with those that are here. Imanu omed hayom lefnechem Hashem Elokechem. With all the people standing here, all of you guys, you're going to join this covenant. Ve'et asher enenu po imanu hayom. Everyone, every single Jewish person. Oh, Rabbi, the covenant, it wasn't made with me. That's not what Moses is saying. Moshe is saying over here, my friends, no matter if you like it or not, it doesn't really matter. But the reality is that you are part of this unfolding drama. You have a unique role in it that no one else has. Every single one of you has a unique mission to keep. But the question is, what are you standing for? Do you know what you stand for? Rosh Hashanah is about 5 days away. 5 days away to get yourselves into a place where you're ready to tap into this beautiful program called Rosh Hashanah, where you can re-envision your future, let go of your past and become something more. How do you start? Well, what do you stand for? You don't know? Write a list. Make it clear. Make it simple. Stand for something this year. You tell God that I am going to stand for truth. I am going to stand for no lashon hara. I am going to stand for helping others. Hachnasat orchim. I'm going to stand for gemilut chasadim, for tzedakah, whatever it is that you're going to stand for this year. If you're able to stand for something, my friends, atem Netzavim hayom, you will be standing today. The Gemara in Sanhedrin tells us before Mashiach comes, before the Messiah comes, there's only two things that you can do to protect yourself from the birth pains of Mashiach. One is Talmid Torah. That's what we're doing right here together, learning Torah. Learning Torah means proactively learning, growing, challenging your ideas, thinking about being a better person. The second thing that you can do is Gemilat Chasadim, doing kind acts of charity. That's the only two things we can do today. The greatest most profound form of giving is when we stand in unison with the people that need it the most. Are we standing up for the people that need help? Are we there for them? Are we providing for them? How are we helping people that need help? Most people spend every single day thinking about, when's my Amazon order coming? When am I going shopping next? Or are they just browsing? What a chaval. How many of us look through our phones and look through our contacts and say, you know what, let me give this person a call and give him chizuk. Let me give this person a little bit of advice, or just check in and let them know that I love them and I'm thinking about them. Make someone's day. Be aware of people's lacking and give to them. You want to be Netzavim. You want to understand how our people survived for so long. It's because we took care of each other. And if we don't take care of each other, we don't have a future. My grandfather always told me that you take one pencil and you could break it easily. When you take a bunch together, it's unbreakable. That's the message of this week's perasha. This week's perasha, as we walk into Rosh Hashanah, as we walk into Yom Kippur, we get into the Setimei Teshuvah. We're getting ready for this profound experience, 10 days of awe, 10 days of awesomeness. We should walk in feeling so much better, so much more confident, knowing that we're going to have a good din, a good judgment, that we will in fact be written in the book of life and the book of success and hatzlacha and parnasa and every other book. You know why? Because we've dedicated ourselves to stand for something. You want to stand. Atem Netzavim hayom kulchem b'fnechem Hashem Elokechem. Stand before God. Stand for something, and you will see yourself living a life of everything that is super meaningful that you could possibly imagine. I'm wishing you all a Shana Tova Metuka, a Shana that is filled with simcha, hatzlacha, and bracha, refuah for those people that need it, shidduchim for those people that need shidduchim. There's no greater mitzvah than making a shidduch for someone who needs a shidduch. There's no question about it. I hope that this year is a year that is significantly better than the last 2 years. It's going to be 18 months since COVID. May you have a Shabbat Shalom Evarach, and may we only share in happy, amazing occasions with one another. Tisku l'shunim rabot v'ni'imot. You should be blessed with many years of success, happiness, and health in all that you do. The next time you and I meet for this conversation, it's going to be the year 5782, 5,782, which is crazy. Another year passed by. Again, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to all for coming. Marie, Kalaniti, Sion, and I believe that's Michelle. Thank you so much. And for everyone over here listening as well, thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom Evarach. Looking forward to another year of amazing content, guys. Thank you so much for being so supportive. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah. After you close.